I got this great question, which is from section 5.4, number 5. In order to answer this question, we have to address an algebraic method. So remember, algebra is all about opposites. So if I have something like x plus 3 equals -7, I have to do the inverse of what is being done to x. And in this particular case, the inverse of plus 3 is -3. Well, and then of course you would get that x equals -10. But let's talk about something like this. On a problem like this, you're told, say, that the radius squared of something is 9. Well, we have to do the inverse operation of squaring. And the inverse operation of squaring is a square root. And why is it a square root? Because the square root of r squared is just r. Likewise, if I had something like the square root of 7, or no, sorry about that, I should say the square root of x equals 7, then what would I do? What is the inverse operation of that? It's squaring, because the square root squared of x squared is just x. And I should add, for this problem above, technically, if I know that something is squared and it's equal to 9, that answer would be positive or -3. However, if I'm talking about a radius, it means that I am talking about a distance, which is always positive. All right, let's get to this problem. It says to find the circumference of a circle with an area of 78.5. Now the area of a circle is equal to pi times the radius squared. I'm going to draw my little line here and fill in everything that I've got. So the area, it says, is 78.5. And that is equal to pi times the radius squared. And I want to find first this radius, because then and only then can I find the circumference. So let's get to it. I'm going to divide both sides by pi. I'm going to keep this in my calculator. That means that r squared equals 78.5 divided by pi, and I'm going to use the pi button on my calculator. And that's going to give me 24.987, and so on and so on. I'm going to keep that in my calculator. And then what I'm going to do now is to get r by itself. And if I want r by itself, the way to do that is to take the square root of both sides. So I'm going to take the square root of this, and that gives me 4.9987, which really is going to round to 5. Okay? Now, I've used the area formula. It's time to move on. We're going to talk about the circumference. Circumference is either pi times the diameter or 2 pi r. 2 times pi times the radius, which is 5. And 2 times pi times 5 is the same thing as 10 pi. And, whoops, I'm sorry, that's a C. And if I do this properly, then I'll take pi times 10. So the circumference is equal to 31 let's see, pi times 10, I think that next one, yeah, 31.4 tenth, yes, it's 31.41, so that's going to round to 31.4. There you have it. So let's recap. First, I used the area formula to find out what the radius is, And then I used the circumference formula and plugged in my new radius to get the circumference.